Many foreigners living in Spain assume that because they are not Spanish, they only need to pay taxes on their income that they earn here. The problem is that this is not always true. And when it's not true, the consequences can be pretty serious. I'm Pau Pascual, a tax advisor at Balsais Group, and this is the topic that we deal very often in our office with international clients. The first thing you need to understand is this. In Spain, you don't pay taxes because you're a foreigner. You pay taxes based on your tax residency. And this is very important. Tax residency does not depend on your nationality. It does not depend on your visa, and it does not depend on your residence permit. Legal residence and tax residence are not the same thing. One of the most common mistakes we see is assuming that if you are not a tax resident, you have no relevant tax obligations in Spain. In some cases, this might be correct, but in many cases it's not. So how do you determine if someone is a tax resident in Spain, is spending more than 183 days per year in Spain? They do not need to be consecutive, it's days that have to be added all together during the whole fiscal year. Resident versus non-resident taxes, what changes? If you are a Spanish tax resident, you pay taxes in Spain on your worldwide income. This includes income earned in Spain and income earned abroad. If you're a non-tax resident, you generally pay taxes in Spain only on the income that you generated in Spain. In Spain, the tax year runs from January 1st to December 31st. Income earned during one calendar year is declared on the following year during the income tax campaign. In general, the annual tax return is filed between April 1st and June 30th. So in the current year, you declare the income from the previous year. Practical taxes that may apply. For example, the first one, the personal income tax. If you are a Spanish tax resident, you must pay the annual tax return. It's a progressive tax. The higher income you get, the higher your percentage will be. If you live in Spain all year and you work from here, you will normally have to declare your worldwide income. If you are a non-tax resident, you usually pay the non-resident tax form for the Spanish source income. The general rate is 24% and 19% in case you are an EU resident. The second one is the social security contributions. If you are an employee, your employer must always withhold that on your payslips. On the other hand, if you are a self-employed, you pay the monthly contribution yourself. In general, only tax residents can deduct these contributions. The third point will be the Beckham law. This is a special tax regime for expatriates who move to Spain for a work reason. Instead of paying the progressive rates, you will pay a flat rate of 24% under certain conditions. For example, one of the reasons is that you are not a tax resident in Spain during the previous 5 years. You moved to Spain under an employment contract. It's not automatic and it does not apply to everyone, but when it's applicable, it can be significantly able to reduce your tax burden. The fourth point is the double taxation treaties. If you are a tax resident in Spain, you earn income abroad, you might ask, will I be paying taxes twice for the same income? In many cases, the answer is no. Spain has a double taxation treaty with many countries in order to avoid what you have to pay paying twice for the same income. However, each treaty is different. It depends on the country and the type of income. The fifth point is non-resident property tax. For example, if you live outside of Spain, but you own a property here in Spain and you rent it, you will pay the non-resident tax form for the rental income. But in case you do not rent it, you will still have to pay this non-resident tax form for an imputed income based on the cadastral value. The sixth point is the wealth tax. If you are a non-tax resident and you own assets in Spain, you might be subject to the wealth tax. Also, if you are a tax resident in Spain, you will have to file the wealth tax for your worldwide assets. The general exemption threshold is 700,000 euros, and for example, in Catalonia, where we are located, it's €500,000. There is also an additional exemption of 300,000 euros for your main property and habitual residence. The tax rate depends on the region of Spain that you're living, same as the thresholds and exemptions for the wealth tax. The seventh key point is the inheritance and the gift tax. If you receive an inheritance or a gift, the eighth point is the capital gain tax. If you sell a property or shares in Spain and you make a profit, you will pay taxes on that. For residents, rates range between 19 to 23%. For non-residents outside of the European Union, the tax rate is generally 24%. The ninth point is the property purchase taxes. If you buy a property in Spain, for resale the property, you usually pay transfer tax. typically between 8 to 10%. For new properties, you usually pay VAT at 10%. There may also be a stamp duty, which varies by region. And 10, the VAT is generally a tax rate in Spain around the 21%, and there is a reduced tax rate of 10% for certain goods and services, and a super reduced rate of 4% for basic products. Deductions and how not to pay more than necessary. If you are a Spanish tax resident, you might benefit from deductions that reduce your tax bill. For example, donations to approved charities, pension plans contributions within some limits, and mortgage or rental deductions in specific cases. Personal allowance based on the age, and also regional tax benefit. This is why planning is essential. In tax matters, copying what someone else does often leads to mistakes, especially if you have income in different countries, own a property, or a change in the residence. If you would like a professional review of your specific situation, you can contact us at info@balsesgroup.com. If this video helped you understand how taxation works for foreigners in Spain, subscribe to our channel to stay more informed about immigration and also the tax matters.